So the other day I was watching Fury, which is one of my favorite films. And after watching it, it got me thinking, what are some of my top 5 favorite films of all time? I think I could flip-flop between 50 different films. So I wrote down a list, and here are some of my top 5 films of all time.
Whatever comes out of these gates, we've got a better chance of survival if we work together.
So my first pick is Ridley Scott's Gladiator. And what I love about Gladiator is that it is a timeless classic. You know, I can watch it as a teenager, as a young adult, until now, and I will always feel inspired by the story. It is an epic story with grand proportions, but deep down it's an internal battle with the protagonist. You know, it's a redemption arc at its finest. It's a hero's journey. Here you have Maximus, who has lost everything in his life, and he's trying to get it back. And the way that he does it is just so, it's a journey, and you feel like you go on this journey with him. There are so many elements in this film that are well done, from the cinematography to the acting to the story to the soundtrack. You know, when you watch the final scene with Maximus and the soundtrack just kicks in, it is movie magic. You know, this is why people make films. This is why there's movie magic. So my next film has to be James Cameron's Titanic. I think very similar to Gladiator, Titanic is so beautifully shot. And again, with Cameron, you can tell that he combined his passion for filmmaking with the research that he did to create this film. And everything from it, from, you know, the set design to the costumes, is so immaculate. And it feels like you're being transported into that world. He's made such likable and relatable characters. You know, everyone wants to cheer for Rose and Jack because they are the underdogs and they're trying to beat a system that's telling them how they should live. I have always related to Jack. You know, he was this guy who came from a not so affluent working class background. He had a carefree spirit, you know, he just wanted to see the world. And I think when you write a protagonist like this, which is something that I don't really see today, who is just likable but also relatable, you have a formula. And again, with these films, the soundtrack is so important. And this is especially with Titanic. You know, Hymn of the Sea, My Heart Will Go On. These are songs that are synonymous with the film. And again, I don't think films nowadays have that care, or the people behind it don't really put that effort into creating that magic, you know, that wanderlust that when you leave watching it, you feel very inspired by it. So my next film definitely goes to the first Rocky film. And what I think is this is the quintessential underdog story within the film and also when the film was being made. Rocky is a character that I think everyone can relate to. Everyone feels like the underdog. You know, when you see him in the film, you feel like that's you. I remember towards the end of the film when Rocky was fighting Apollo, you know, and he was down on his luck and he came back in the final round. You felt like you were Rocky. When Rocky wins, you win. This is a film that's made with all heart, you know? It's not shot the best, the story isn't the best, but you can tell the artist has bared his soul into this piece. And I think the story behind making this, how Stallone, he was so poor at the time and he had to sell all his possessions just to make this film, and battling, you know, people who wanted to sell it off him, battling people just telling him that he could not star in his own film, and people just offering him money left, right and center to take this film from him. But he said no, because this is my story. I am Rocky and I'm going to be in this film. So this next film is A Brighter Summer Day, directed by Edward Yang. And what I love about this film is it is the first time I watched the film and I thought, this is an artwork. And I find that a lot with Ed Wood Yang's work, where he would love to create things using the color, the framing, the positioning of the characters. Everything that he does creates a beautiful frame. And when you watch it, you can just feel the art coming out of his work. Nowadays, you have a lot of films that are shot very clearly and they follow a very generic formula. Whereas I feel like back then they had these artists who they just wanted to just fill the canvas with their souls. And I think that's what art is meant to be at the end of the day. These works weren't perfect in the sense that they ticked this, and this box. They were perfect because they were so imperfect. So when an artist bears their soul into a work, there's just something beautiful about that.
I never let you go. Why? Because I love you.
I am on a lifeboat alone with the tiger.
So this video is actually shot 2 months after the original video. I just haven't had time to release this, but I actually changed my number 5 decision, which shows how indecisive this list actually is. So for my number 5 pick, it's going to be The Life of Pi. And just like the first and the second pick, I love it because it is such a great epic story where the main character goes through such a hero's journey. So when I watched this film in the cinemas for the first time, I was so blown away by the visuals of it. It is such a beautiful film. It takes you to so many places, and all these places are just so visually stunning. And the most important thing is the theme of the film, which it has a lot to do with spirituality, which I really like in films. And I like films which have a very deep meaning to them. There is one scene at the end of the film when the adult Pi talks to the interviewer, and the acting is phenomenal. And it's so heartbreaking what he says because of moments like this that are so, it's not big, but it's so beautiful. And it just wraps the film up in such a nice way. And I love endings like that.
I know it. I felt it. Even if I can't prove it.
So yeah, those are my top 5 films for now. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. And tell me, what are your favorite films? Is it as big of a list as mine, or do you have one that you just constantly watch and you just enjoy? Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.